Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be ranking every NFL quarterback and giving some insight onto why I have my list the way that I do. But before we hop into the content of today's video, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it. Now, today's video is a little bit different than my other videos. I'm going to be using this site called Bladen.com. It's made by the Stay Hot in Sports podcast. If you guys are interested in making your own ranking or list, I'll leave it in the description so you guys can go make your own. Essentially how it works is you pick between two quarterbacks, you'll fill out the progress bar, and after you do about 30 or 40 of them, it will generate your 32 quarterback list. And that's what we'll be reviewing, and we'll be going through step by step of each quarterback that I pick. This video is a little bit different than all of my other videos, so let me know if you guys do enjoy this type of video. With all that being said, let's hop into my quarterback rankings. Starting off, we have Matthew Stafford or Kyler Murray. I think Matthew Stafford is the pretty easy choice here. He just went to the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl for the Rams. I think Kyler Murray is a borderline top 10 quarterback. I just don't think that he's consistent enough to be ranked ahead of Matthew Stafford, who I view as probably a top 5 quarterback going into the season. Next up, we have two pretty unproven quarterbacks, Drew Lock or Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to get the slight edge solely because I believe in his talent a little bit more than Drew Lock's. They both really haven't played that much football. Drew Lock is probably going to get a chance this year with the Seattle Seahawks to prove what he can do. And I think he may take advantage of the opportunity, put up a pretty good season, but we haven't seen that yet. So solely based off of that, I'm going to roll with Trey Lance over Drew Lock. Now, this is a pretty interesting one. Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts. Hurts technically replaced Wentz. They got rid of him to put in Hurts as their starting quarterback. But I still believe Carson Wentz is a slightly better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I think Hurts has some good talent, some good potential, but he has not proven that he is a viable passer yet. I know Carson Wentz is a pretty criticized quarterback, but I think he's at least an average, pretty solid guy in the league. So I think Carson Wentz slightly gets the edge over Hurts going into the season. Dak Prescott or Daniel Jones, this is a pretty easy one. I think Dak is a top 12 quarterback in the league. Daniel Jones is probably a bottom 10, bottom 5. I don't think I need to do much explaining on this. Dak definitely gets the edge. Tom Brady or Jameis Winston, I think this is a pretty similar one to the last one. I think Tom Brady definitely gets the crown here. Sam Darnold, Marcus Mariota, I think Darnold is the worst quarterback in the league. I think Mariota is definitely a great backup. I definitely think that he's better than Sam Darnold. Justin Fields or Jared Goff. Now, this is interesting. I made a video on Justin Fields a couple of days ago. You guys can go check that out if you're interested in Fields. But this is really two different types of situations here. We have Fields, who hasn't really proven much. He hasn't been in the league that much. He hasn't had a good environment. And then we have Goff, who has kind of proven to be an average quarterback, kind of held the Rams back a little bit. But I really do believe that Goff right now is a little bit better than Fields. Fields obviously has more talent, more potential, but if we're just solely going off of what we saw from last year, I think Jared Goff gets the slight edge. Rodgers or Cousins. Rodgers has back-to-back MVPs. I think that's enough said. Rodgers is definitely in a tier ahead of Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr, Russell Wilson. I definitely think this is closer than probably a lot of people do, but I do believe Russell Wilson should get the edge here. Division rivals, Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert. I think Patrick Mahomes deserved the edge. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Herbert, he's very good, definitely a top 10 quarterback, but I do think Mahomes is in a league of his own. Mac Jones or Tua Tagovailoa. This is probably going to be one of the most controversial picks of the entire video. I think this is pretty close, but I'm going to roll with Tua, and let me explain my reasoning behind that. Now, I know Tua is probably the most criticized quarterback in the entire NFL. I do not think that's warranted. I do not think that's justified, but he is. He's the most criticized quarterback in the NFL. But I think Tua has more talent than Mac Jones. I think he has a higher ceiling than Mac Jones. And if you look at their seasons last year, it was pretty comparable years. Yes, Mac Jones was a rookie. Yes, Tua was in year 2. But look at the situations. Mac Jones, Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick. Great running game, good offensive line. He didn't have great weapons, but if you compare it to Tua's weapons, Tua really didn't have much better weapons than Mac, and he had a worse running game, worse coaching staff. Tua also beat Mac Jones head-to-head twice. It is a team game, but I think I'm going to roll with Tua slightly going in the next season. Josh Allen or Zach Wilson, not going to take much time on this. Josh Allen is the clear favorite. Davis Mills or Matt Ryan. Now, I do think Davis Mills could have like a Matt Ryan type of career almost. I really do think Davis Mills has some potential, but I do think Matt Ryan right now is the more proven and better quarterback. Trevor Lawrence or Ryan Tannehill. Lawrence didn't really have a great season last year as a rookie. I think Ryan Tannehill definitely deserves a nod, at least for this year. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence does in year 2. Joe Burrow or Mitchell Trubisky. Don't even got to think twice about this one. Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson. Now, we haven't seen Deshaun Watson play in a year. He's had a lot of those lawsuits he's been dealing with. Lamar, I'm a little bit lower on Lamar than a lot of people are. I think Lamar has kind of had 2 off years. Last year, he was not spectacular. 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I don't think that's a great year. I think Watson, when he did play a year ago for the Texans, was a top 5 quarterback. So I'm going to be rolling with Deshaun Watson. Drew Lock or Kyler Murray? Easy one, Kyler Murray. Definitely proven more. Definitely a better quarterback than Drew Lock. Trey Lance or Kyler Murray? Same situation, proven more. Trey Lance hasn't played enough. Kyler Murray is the easy choice. Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts? I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts? Prescott gets the nod here. I think Prescott's a better polished passer than Hurts, and although Prescott did have a bad ankle injury that's kind of limited his mobility, I still think he can get out of the pocket, make some plays with his legs like he did early in his career. And I think Jalen Hurts could follow into a similar mold as Dak, kind of early in his career, primarily a runner. I feel like Dak really, a big part of his game was the read option with Zeke the first couple years of his career and extending plays with his legs, kind of like Hurts right now. And then he kind of polished into a pretty good passer of the football. I'll see if Hurts can follow into that footsteps. But right now, I think Dak is definitely the better quarterback. Carson Wentz or Dak? I still think it's Dak. Not really close in my eyes. Jameis or Darnold? I've already said Darnold is the worst quarterback, starting quarterback in the league. I'm going to take Winston. Mariota or Winston? Same draft class, first overall pick, second overall pick. I'm rolling with Winston. Kirk or Justin Fields? I think Kirk is the clear favorite here. Goff or Cousins? A little bit closer than Fields, but I still think Kirk is a better player. Justin Herbert or Derek Carr? I think Herbert is the better quarterback. I think Carr is very solid, but I think Herbert with his physical tools is just a little bit better than Carr. We'll see if Herbert can bring the Chargers to the playoffs this year. That's really the last thing he has to accomplish before being universally known as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Russ or Herbert? I think I'm going to take a slight edge on Russ. Kind of what I mentioned earlier about Russ and Carr. I think he's just proven a little bit more than Herbert. Wilson's proved more. He's made the playoffs. I think with the Broncos this year, he's going to make the playoffs again. I'm going to roll with Russell Wilson. Mahomes or Russell Wilson? Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. I'm rolling with Mahomes. Zach Wilson or Mac Jones? Mac Jones was the best rookie quarterback last year. Wilson was not very good. Has a lot of potential, but I think Mac Jones is the answer right now. Mac Jones or Josh Allen? This one's not close. Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the league. Tua or Josh Allen? Same thing. Allen, top 3 quarterback in the league. Trevor Lawrence or Davis Mills? This one's interesting. I think Davis Mills had a better rookie season, but if I had to pick a quarterback going into next year, I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence because I think that the situation he was in really held him down. And I don't think Lawrence was that bad as his stats show. He had some very impressive games. So I think I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence. Matt Ryan or Trevor Lawrence? Matt Ryan, he's the pick here. Tannehill or Matt Ryan? If you asked me a couple years ago, I would have picked Tannehill. But I think Matt Ryan is the choice now solely because of how Tannehill fell off at the end of the year, especially without Derrick Henry. Lamar or Mitchell? I think it's Lamar, easy. Joe Burrow or Lamar? This is a heated topic. This is a very controversial pick here as well. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. Just brought his team to the Super Bowl. Lamar hasn't had great postseason success. Lamar may be a better athlete and playmaker, but I do believe that Burrow is a better passer, and I would want him over Lamar on my team if I was starting a new franchise. Watson or Burrow? I think because Watson hasn't played in a year, and it might be 2 years if he gets suspended, I think Joe Burrow is the pick. Daniel Jones or Drew Lock? I think solely because Drew Lock hasn't played that much, Daniel Jones has to get the edge. I don't really like either of these quarterbacks, but I do think Daniel Jones is just a tiny bit more proven. He gets the nod over Drew Lock. Trey Lance or Daniel Jones? Similar thing. I think you have to give the edge to Daniel Jones solely because he's proven a little bit more than Trey Lance. Lance played in 2 games last year. He doesn't have a huge sample size. I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones or Kyler Murray? Come on, it's Kyler easily. Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts? I think Kyler Murray is the pick as well. Wentz or Murray? Murray, again, I do believe he's better than Wentz. Kyler or Dak? I think I'm going to roll with Dak Prescott. And this could go really either one way or the other. I think I'm probably a little bit higher on Dak than most people and a little bit lower on Kyler than most people. But I just think Dak is a little bit more consistent than Kyler. I think although Dak doesn't have great postseason success, neither does Kyler in his 1 game he's played. Dak does have a playoff win. I think Dak slightly gets an edge over Kyler. Matthew Stafford or Dak? Stafford, top 5 quarterback, won the Super Bowl. Stafford is the pick. Sam Darnold or Justin Fields? I think Darnold is the worst quarterback in the league. Rolling with Fields. Marcus Mariota or Fields? I think Mariota gets a slight edge here. I think that they're both good playmakers with their legs. I mean, we saw the Raiders use Mariota in kind of a wildcat and quarterback option kind of system. I do think he's going to be pretty decent for the Falcons this year if he gets the opportunity. And right now going into the year, I think I'm going to take Mariota over Fields. Goff or Mariota, you got to go with Goff. Winston or Goff, it's Winston. Kirk or Winston, I think you got to go with Kirk. Kirk gets slandered a lot as well, but if you look at his past 2 years, he's put up pretty good numbers. Tom Brady or Kirk, Tom Brady, easy selection, top 5 quarterback. Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, 2 MVPs for Rodgers. If you ask me in Brady's prime, it would be Tom Brady, but I think Rodgers, in his regular season at least, is a better overall quarterback heading into the next season as Brady turns 45. Wilson or Carr, easily Carr. Mac Jones or Carr, easily Carr. Tua or Carr, easily Carr. Derek Carr or Josh Allen, easily Josh Allen. And Allen or Herbert, similar kind of mold, similar kind of players as far as the physical attributes go, but I think Allen is the more prudent player. Russell Wilson or Josh Allen? Josh Allen, again, I think Allen has definitely been a top 3 quarterback the last year or two. Wilson has kind of dropped off the rankings just a tiny bit. I think Allen is a better quarterback. Mahomes or Allen? I still think Mahomes gets the edge. He's kind of owned Allen in the playoffs, and he's won an MVP. Davis Mills or Trubisky? I think it's Davis Mills. Lamar or Davis Mills? It's Lamar easily. Lamar or Trevor Lawrence? Lamar. Here we are again with Darnold or Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock gets the edge. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks every single season. I'll trust Lock over Darnold. Fields or Lock? I'm going to take Fields. Fields or Lance? I think I'm going to roll with Lance. This may be a little bit surprising, but I think Lance has a little bit more talent than Fields. I think they're similar athletes. Fields is definitely a little bit more athletic, but Lance is also very athletic in his own right. I think Lance has a better arm, and he's 6'4", a little bit bigger than Fields. Mariota or Trey Lance? You got to go with Mariota. We've seen him more than Lance. I'm going to roll with Mariota. Daniel Jones or Mariota? I think Daniel Jones gets a slight edge here because I think when they both played, they were around the same ranking, in the 20s. But Daniel Jones has played and been a starter the last couple of years. I know Mariota does have a playoff win several years ago, and I think that Daniel Jones, as we enter the 2022 season, deserves the edge. Jared Goff or Daniel Jones? I'm going to go with Jared Goff. Hurts or Goff? I think Hurts gets a slight edge over Jared Goff. Winston or Hurts? I'm going with Winston. Wentz or Winston? Winston is my pick. Winston or Kyler? I'm going to go with Kyler. Kirk or Kyler? I think Kyler is a little bit better than Cousins, solely off of what he can do outside of the scripted offense. Brady or Kyler? It's Brady. Brady or Dak? Brady. Brady or Stafford? This is a pretty close one, but I do think Brady is a little bit better. Stafford did beat him in the playoffs last year, but I do think that Brady, the numbers he put up last year, 5,000 yards, I think Brady is still a better quarterback. Trubisky or Zach Wilson? This one's tough. And I think it's tough because Trubisky has proven more than Zach Wilson, but the talent of Zach Wilson is better than Trubisky. I'm going to go with Zach Wilson just solely off of that. Davis Mills or Zach Wilson? I'm going to go with Davis Mills. Mac Jones or Mills? The 2 best rookie quarterbacks last year. Mac was the first one, so you got to go with him. Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence? Mac had a better rookie season. You got to go with him over Trevor. Mac Jones or Ryan Tannehill? This is an interesting one. I think Ryan Tannehill right now, I would take him over Mac. It's really close, but I do think Tannehill's mobility, I think I would give him a slight edge over Mac right now. Tua or Ryan Tannehill? I think Tua can pass him up for sure, but I think the slight edge needs to go to Ryan Tannehill right now. Tannehill or Derek Carr? Carr. Lamar or Derek Carr? This is a good one. This may surprise some people, but I do think I am going to roll with Derek Carr. Now, I think what he was able to do last year with the Raiders, and Lamar the last 2 years has been kind of underwhelming since his MVP season. I really need to see something out of Lamar this year. Hopefully he stays healthy. He's able to prove himself this year. But I really do believe that Derek Carr is the better player entering the year. Watson or Carr? It's Watson. Herbert or Watson? I'm going to go with Herbert. Herbert or Burrow? This is a controversy topic. I made a video on this a few days ago. I'm going to take Burrow. I think their numbers were really similar last year, but Burrow brought his team to the Super Bowl. Herbert has not sniffed the playoffs yet. I think Burrow gets the edge solely based off of his postseason success versus Herbert's. Wilson or Burrow? Close. I think Wilson gets a slight edge. Darnold or Trubisky? We've already talked about Darnold enough. It's Trubisky. Drew Lock or Trubisky? I think Trubisky is better than Drew Lock. Trubisky or Justin Fields? We'll see what Trubisky can do this year, but I do think Fields is the right choice going into the season. Wilson or Fields? I think I'm going to go with Zach Wilson. I think they both kind of struggled last year. So this is kind of a personal preference kind of pick because they both haven't played a ton. You don't really know what their ceilings or what they're really going to amount to in the league. But I just think solely off of their play style and their similar talent, I'm going to go with Wilson. Trey Lance or Wilson? This is a tough one again. I think the right pick is Trey Lance. I think that he probably has the second most potential out of anybody in that class behind Trevor Lawrence. Davis, Mills, or Lance, heading into the year, you got to take Mills. Mills or Mariota? I think you got to roll with Mariota. Mariota, Trevor Lawrence, same thing. You got to take Mariota. Mac Jones or Mariota, you got to take Mac. Mac proved more in his rookie year than Mariota did in his entire few seasons starting. Daniel Jones or Mac? I think Mac. Mac or Jared Goff? Mac gets a slight edge. Hurts or Mac? I think Mac is a little bit better. Wentz or Jones? I think Wentz. Tua or Wentz? I think it's the similar thing to Mac Jones. You got to take Wentz. Tannehill or Wentz? I think Tannehill. Winston or Tannehill? I think Winston gets it. Matt Ryan or Winston? I think I'm going to give a slight edge to Matt Ryan only because Winston's coming off that ACL injury. We didn't get to see him for a whole season last year. Slight edge to Matt Ryan. Kirk Cousins or Matt Ryan? It's Kirk. Lamar or Kirk? I think it is Lamar. I think he is a better quarterback than Kirk. Kyler or Lamar? I think I would roll with Kyler. I think they both have great running ability, but Kyler is a little bit better of a passer. Derek Carr or Kyler? I think Kyler slightly. Kyler or Deshaun? When Watson plays, it's Watson. We're going to go with Watson. Dak or Watson? When Watson plays, it is again Watson. Watson or Stafford? You asked me 2 years ago, it would be Watson. Stafford right now. Herbert or Stafford? Stafford just won a Super Bowl. Herbert has not made the playoffs. You got to go with Stafford. Burrow or Stafford? Similar thing. He beat Burrow in the Super Bowl. Stafford, he's kind of on his honeymoon season. He deserves the nod. Stafford or Russ? I still think it's Stafford again. Allen or Stafford? Allen. Brady or Allen? I think as we enter this year, Allen is better. I do think I would take Allen over Brady. Allen or Rodgers? This is essentially asking me who's the second best quarterback in the league. I think right now you got to give it to Rodgers just because he's off of back-to-back MVPs. Mahomes or Rodgers? It's Mahomes. So here are my final rankings. We have Patrick Mahomes, number 1, Rodgers, Allen, Brady, Stafford, rounding out the top 5. I really like this list. I think this is pretty accurate. I think Darnold is the worst quarterback in the league. I think Locke and Trubisky do deserve to be the bottom 3 guys right now. And then you have a run on all the rookies. Fields, Wilson, Lance, Mills, Lawrence. I think if you combine their seasons last year and then their talent, that's where I think that they should go. So I like that. And then Mariota, you can make a case he's a little bit too high because he hasn't played. I mean, I could see him behind some of these rookies, but I just like that he's kind of proven a little bit more than some of these guys. That's why I have him ahead. I think Daniel Jones and Jared Goff are in proper spots. Hurts, I think he's in a proper spot. I think Mac, he could be a little bit higher, but I do think Tua gets a slight edge over him, and I think Wentz and Tannehill and Winston, they deserve the right to be ahead only because they've been proven a little bit more than Mac in his 1 year. This is my quarterback rankings. Let me know what you guys think of my top 32 NFL quarterbacks. Do this for yourself. Let me know what your rankings are and what you would change with my list. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.